both the Dallas Fuel and the Los Angeles Gladiators have made huge changes to their roster this off-season. While Fuel have kept their semi-finalist and League champion core from last season, they have made upgrades in signing Chio to their main support position, Edson and Gurrio to their DPS line as hitskins, and even added Rascal as an assistant coach. The Gladiators have made much more changes as well. They have revamped their coaching staff, signing Smash and Hunter as assistant coaches, and moving Face to a head coach position. They replaced Bidring with Ins, replaced Mira with Patapane, and Muzz with Reiner. Which team is better? I'll be discussing that today. Let's start with the DPS. We have the Fuel DPS line of Sparkle, Doha, Edson and Gurrio facing off against Kivster, Uns and Patapane. This is a tough one. Last year the Fuel had a dominant DPS line, and that was without a dedicated hitscan player. Luckily hitscan wasn't super meta this year, but we saw Sparkle pick up the Tracer to a relatively high level, and even Doha picked up a few hard hitskins like Soldier. Now, they have fixed that hole with a dedicated Tracer hitscan flex in Edson, and another hitscan in Gurrio. I'll be honest, I'm not super big on these guys compared to Uns. Uns at his peak was the best hitscan in the world, and honestly he might still be, he just didn't get to show it off on Widow or Ashe like last year. However, Edson didn't impress me as much last year. He certainly did well on Symmetra and McCree whenever he played, but he didn't get the chance to show he was world-class as he was always benched for Kai later in the year. Gurrio, I am excited about, though. I don't know all that much about him, and he's never stood out much even as a hard carry, however he is definitely talented. Rush is in my opinion the best coach in the league after he managed to bring success to the Fuel despite them not having a hitscan all year, and with a young, promising player like Gurrio under his lead, I feel he could turn into the next Uns, an unknown player who comes in and destroys everyone. However, both of these players have not shown the peaks of Uns. People forget how good Uns is because he didn't play much last year, but the guy is a freak of nature. Another advantage the Glads has is Tracer play. Kivster is significantly better than Edson and Sparkle on Tracer. However, the real decider here in my opinion is Patapane. Kivster is a world-class flex DPS, however, in Tracer flex DPS meters, Patapane will need to show he can stand up to the likes of Sparkle and Doha, both of whom were absolutely bonkers last year. And I have a few questions about that. Patapane is definitely really good at video games and can pick up a lot of new stuff easily, as he seamlessly went from Overwatch to Valorant. However, the level of skill in Overwatch now has gone so far that it's difficult to say he can stand up to Sparkle. I don't think it'll be a disaster, and Hunter and Face should be able to make them decent, but still. I say the DPS are equal. Kivster and Uns are enough to make this DPS line a top 3 in the league, but Dallas is right there with them. Maybe the Gladiators are a tad better, but I cannot reliably say that without seeing Patapane play. Next, the tanks. I think the Gladiators' tankline is actually not given enough credit. Space is obviously an incredible player, winning a Roll Star for his 2021 performance. I would say Hanbin is better than him on pretty much every hero, however. Hanbin is on another level. I also think Fearless is a lot more mechanically gifted than Reiner. Don't get me wrong, Reiner is great, but I would say Fearless is the best main tank in the world right now. But one thing Reiner does have is flexibility. Reiner is one of the most flexible players in the world, seamlessly moving between flex DPS, off-tank and main tank, and being consistently top tier in tier 2 on them. I am going to give this one to the Fuel, but don't be surprised if Reiner gets the upswing on Fearless on any new tanks, or off-tanks. Next, the support lines. This is an easy one for the Gladiators. They have a top 3 main support in Funny Astro, the best brig in the league in skewed, and Shu needs no explanation. Shu and Fielder are about equal, I would say. Shu outputs much more damage and Fielder focuses more on healing. I would say Shu is a tad better if I had to pick. But having skewed in there makes these guys unstoppable in double flex support meters. As for the Chio matchup, I doubt Chio can rival skewed on brig, and Funny Astro is simply much more proven at the highest levels than Chio, being consistently one of the best main supports in the league across the past 2 seasons. Add in the Fuel's lack of flexibility onto double flex meters, and I give this a solid W to the Gladiators. Finally, the coaching. This is an easy one for Dallas. While the Gladiators brought in Hunter, which is a huge signing, as he was one of the biggest reasons for Atlanta's second-place finish, and Face as a head coach is a good shout. Spay has a lot of faith in him and he is experienced with the Gladiators' structure before. Smash is a solid coach, too. But I just don't think they measure up to the phenomenal coaching staff of the previous season by the Dallas Fuel. The things Rush was able to do without a dedicated hits-con player was astounding. He kept Aid, who he has built up 2 years of synergy with, and while Long did leave, I feel Rascal is a solid replacement. You must keep in mind that one of the things Rascal is able to do is learn things very easily, being hailed as one of the guys who would pick up any new hero and dominate with it. And with Overwatch 2 introducing tons of works, new heroes and new mechanics, this is the guy you want to have on your side to help guide you and your team through the new planes. These guys are top tier, possibly the best coaching staff heading into Overwatch 2, and I am excited as all hell to see what they can do, especially with Chio and Gurio. Overall, I would have to give it to Dallas Fuel overall. Los Angeles Gladiators look good, really good, but I don't think they have made adequate improvements to convince me they are better than the Fuel, who were the only team to really challenge the Shanghai Dragons other than one Chengdu game. Dallas has made improvements in support and arguably their coaching staff, and filled up their holes in DPS, while the Gladiators have side-degraded or mildly upgraded in their positions. I would say the differences between them are small, and in a given meta, such as a flex support meta, the Gladiators would come on top. I just think the Fuel are slightly better overall and more meta-proof than ever. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more. I upload daily Overwatch League content, and am trying to hit 100 subs by Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.